Welcome to the Red Carpet Report, your backstage pass to celebrity book clubs, book adaptations, and new book releases. I'm Kirsten.
And I'm Jackie.
And we're your hosts.
This week's episode is a deep dive into the Read with Jenna book club. And we're really excited because we've already done this with Reese. There is so much to talk about with Jenna. But before we get into that, we have the red carpet rundown.
This is a really exciting bit of news. And we're like a little late to the game, but we're kind of not because we just got the release for the second scent. But Reese Witherspoon, we somehow missed this, partnered with the Yankee Candle Company to do a quarterly candle based on a book. And so the newest one is coming out now to pair with Into the Blue, which is her April book club pick. We're going to be getting samples sent to us.
Yes. And we decided we're actually not going to smell them. We're going to do it live on the podcast. So you'll get our real reactions. And I wonder how this is going to go because I'm very sensitive to certain smells.
I don't know. I'm really excited to smell them. I love a Yankee Candle. Like, take me back to my mall shopping days in my youth where like Bed Bath & Beyond and Yankee Candle.
Oh, do you remember? That was so good.
Do you remember when Yankee Candle had those little like tartlets and you would like melt a tea light under and it would make your whole house smell good? Like, I was a little bit obsessed.
But this one seems like it's going to be really good. They were saying scents of like flowers and ocean. So
it's coastal. So I really, really want this one. Like, dibs on this one. You can have the first one. Okay. But meanwhile, we do have two book adaptation like news segments to talk about, and they're pretty fun.
This one I'm so excited about because House on the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune, one of my favorite books of all time, is getting an adaptation, but it is going to be animated.
I think that is actually perfect for this one. I feel like an animated series is going to do really well. Like, look at K-pop Demon Hunters. And I know that's not the same like audience segment, but I just think you can do a lot more with animation, and it's like an undervalued skill.
So this is my question. If they're making it animated, do you think they're gearing it towards adults, or is it going to be geared towards kids?
I think it's going to be for teens. That's my guess. Because it really is. It's about, you know, the kids in like the foster home that have these special powers and the social worker that comes to check on them and the headmaster at the school. And I feel like if done correctly, it could be YA appropriate.
You know, my daughter read this and she read it when she was 12. So this is the kind of book, it is an adult book, but it is totally appropriate for kids. The following one, Somewhere Beyond the Sea, dealt with the foster care system in a much deeper way. One of the kids has a little more trauma, so that one is probably for a little bit older, but this one is so great. It's one of my favorites. I can't wait. Like, I want to see how they do Chauncey.
I just think it's so clever to do something different. You know, like take a book that is really popular, but do something different, adapt it in a different way.
Yeah.
And I think you can be more true to what happens in that book with an animated adaptation.
Now, the second one that we have to talk about actually ties in with the Read with Jenna.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you've read this book.
The Husbands by Holly Grazmizio. I'm definitely screwing that one up, but different from The Husbands by Chandler Baker. I've read them both. They're both celebrity book club picks, I think, but they're different ones. This one is the sci-fi one where she keeps sending the husbands up to the attic, and every time a husband goes up to the attic, a different husband comes down.
Right, and so they've cast it now, and they've cast all the husbands.
Or some of the husbands, at least some of the major husbands.
Right, there's like 8 or something. Husbands cast, and
one of them is Joe Alwyn, which, I mean, he's the devil's spawn because of what he did to Tay-Tay. But, you know, it's fine. I'm going to watch it because Juno Temple is like the wife.
I love her so much. I can't wait. I'm interested to see what people think about this adaptation because I feel like the book was either people loved it or hated it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you loved the book. I didn't end up reading it, but all of our book club members gave us feedback that they either thought it was one of the best of the year or they absolutely detested it.
It is definitely a polarizing story. I thought it was great. I actually think both the husbands' books are phenomenal, and they're both very divisive. So
Right.
for what it's worth, I guess I just like a fun story about a husband.
Well, I'm 100% going to watch this because I love Juno Temple so much. She's one of my favorites.
Now let's get into the deep dive. Let's talk a little bit about Read with Jenna, who started her book club in 2019. And I'm pretty sure she started it as a direct response to Reese hitting the charts. In 2018 was really when it blew up because she had Where the Crawdads Sing. And so Jenna launched hers on the Today Show. She always unveils it in the morning on the Today Show, which has like a built-in media platform for her. So that you would think would give her a really big leg up.
Right. And we actually have an author that we're going to talk about after who's been a pick for both of those book clubs. So we'll get into that in a minute. We're going to talk about our favorites. We're going to talk about your favorites. And then we're going to talk about some of the ones that we're surprised that were kind of under-reviewed. It doesn't mean that they have poor ratings. It just means there were not as many ratings as we thought there would be.
I feel like I like the Read with Jenna book club a little bit more than you do. I find her books to be polarizing. Either they sound so interesting and I love them, or the premise has no interest to me and I don't even pick them up. Would you agree with that?
100%. And it's interesting because I don't have as many favorites as you do. I only have about 5. And you had a hard time picking 10. I also have read a lot of her books that I thought were fine.
Right.
Solidly fine. So there were a ton of books that I've read that I've liked. I didn't have 10 books from her book club that I loved.
Right. And I had more than 10 that were even in my 5 stars.
Right.
So this was a hard one for me.
I'm going first because otherwise you would say this one, and it is Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt.
Yep.
So
also a reader favorite. This was in your top 5.
Yeah. I felt like this book was everything. It was so good. It's getting an adaptation, which we're
coming out in not too long, like this summer.
So excited with, what's her name?
Sally Field.
Thank you. I'm picturing her face. So the main reason that I absolutely love this book is from the very first page. Marcellus the Octopus was so funny. I was just laughing so hard. He's such a curmudgeon. I loved him so much. I fell in love with him. I couldn't stop reading this book. I couldn't put it down.
Yeah, this is one that I remember I listened to it, and I was listening to it in the car at pickup one day, and like the kids got in the car and I was like, shh, you shut your mouth. Like, I got to finish this book. I was like at the very end, and my kids were like, we pulled into the driveway and I went to get out of the car and the kids just sat there and they were listening like to the end, and they're like, okay, can you bring us up to date on the beginning? So I think I'm actually going to watch this with my kids.
I think so too.
I think they're really going to like it. They loved Lessons with Chemistry. I think this is one that is like a family friendly with parent support to watch the adaptation.
I think, like, my daughter read it. Okay. She loved it. There's nothing in it that's not appropriate. I mean, yes, they're older, but it doesn't mean that it's not appropriate.
So on here, I'm not even going to talk about it anymore, but The Husbands was on my top 10 because it was just so clever and unique.
You may or may not have read this. I don't know. Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson.
No, but I knew you were going to pick this one because you love Kevin Wilson.
I do. This book, again, this is another one that should not work. It is about kids who spontaneously start on fire. And again, it's one of those books where it could either be fantastic or bomb spectacularly. And I just thought it was a 5-star read. I loved it.
I'm going to do 2 really quickly. One, I'm not even going to talk about that much because you haven't had a chance to read it yet, but I know you're going to love it and it's going to be a 5-star read for you. And that is Wait for Me, which was the March pick. We've talked about it on the podcast already. It's so great that I know you're going to read it and love it. But one I think you're never going to read because it's not a Jackie and it's also not really a Kirsten. Chain Gang All-Stars.
Oh, yeah. That is the most un-Kirsten book ever.
I know. And I got an early copy of it and I was like, you know what? I'm going to I'm going to try it. It's essentially in the near future, instead of people on death row being contained to prison, they travel in a caravan and do like gladiator style things all over the like fight to the death matches for people all around the US, and it is televised. And at the end of the season, the winner who's left standing gets their freedom. So you're incentivized to kill the people in front. It's literally like...
Wait, so these are people on death row. So you're letting the other people on death row kill the other people on death row.
Yes.
And one of them gets exonerated by killing everybody.
Like the gladiator style. So, and there's different it's almost like the circus. You know how well, you might not know this, but when I worked at the circus, there was like the red train and the blue train, and they would travel the US and they'd go to different cities at different times.
Doesn't everybody know that there's a red train and a blue train on
Okay, well, there was two different like traveling shows at the same time that would like crisscross across the US, okay?
Wait, I don't understand. Are they different shows?
They were different shows, different trains, different setups. This is sort of similar to that. So there's like one chain gang is like doing the East and one chain gang is going on the West, and they're both are being like filmed on reality TV. Anyway, they're all fighting to the death, and it's just like, what would you do for your freedom? I think about this no less than once a week. I don't know why this pops into my head all the time, but it has stayed with me forever. Just like, I don't feel like we're that far away from this happening.
My next one, this is not going to be a shock to you. It was All the Colors of the Dark by Reese Whitaker.
And that was a reader favorite.
It's a reader favorite.
That one came up again and again and again and again.
It's a chunker. So this is an investment.
Yep.
But it was fantastic. So
I am going to go with The Irish Goodbye.
Oh, you love this one.
I loved this one. It was a recent pick. I think it was her November pick of November 2025. And it was set over Thanksgiving weekend, which you don't get a lot of books at Thanksgiving. And it was about an Irish family who had multiple siblings, one of whom had died. And it was kind of the reckoning of like everyone coming back and sort of dealing with this crisis that has been at the whole of the center of their family and never really addressed, and the ripple effects that has created among the siblings and the parents. And it was really moving and really well done. And I am forever the girl that loves a family drama and a family saga. So this is a no-brainer.
You are the queen of family dramas.
Give me a multi-sibling story and like do it well, and I am forever in your debt. The Irish Goodbye, though, I'm looking at my information here. Very under-reviewed. Only about 40,000 people read that book and reviewed it, which is like pretty low, all things considered.
Yeah. Especially when it's a celebrity book club pick. Okay, this is one that I loved. It is The Names by Florence Knapp.
Oh, you did love this one.
I love this one so much. And I feel like I didn't hear people talking about it. It wasn't one of the ones that was under-reviewed. I feel like it was underhyped, legitimately underhyped. Like it should have had way more fanfare than it did. What do you have next?
I've got Valentine, which is set in 1970s Odessa, Texas. Essentially, a 14-year-old girl is raped and beaten. And her story is followed because she is a minority.
Okay.
And it impacts like other women, like her neighbors. There was a witness, the person who did the abusing and the rape. I don't want to spoil anything, but it is about class and race and the treatment of women in a society that is mostly run by men, which like white men run the oil fields out there in Texas. And it was really, really powerful because things were different in the 70s. And so it wouldn't have been the same if it had happened today. But, you know, the 70s weren't that long ago. Our parents were alive in the 70s. I was about to say, I love you so much. I love you so much. I love you so much. I'm so sorry. Jackie's turning 50 and she too was alive in the 70s and I forgot. I'm so sorry.
And that, folks, is the end of the Red Carpet Report podcast. This will be our final episode. And thank you very much for tuning in.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Parents were alive in the 70s. Half of the people sitting on this couch were alive in the 70s.
I love you so much. You're my best friend. Okay.
Do you see the abuse that I have to endure? Okay, I'm going to say something else about this, which this to me sounds like an Oprah pick,
Yeah.
right?
But a lot of Jenna's can sometimes be Oprah-esque in nature.
But some of them are heavier, but this one just sounds like a lot.
It was a lot. It was a lot, which is probably why only about 43,000 people reviewed it. It just kind of screams, do I want to be this sad? I'm also going to do Mame. So Mame by Jessica George. I love it. We talked about her recent book is just out now. This one was dealing with grief. And essentially a young woman whose mother is mostly in Ghana is dealing with her father's advanced Parkinson's. And in her culture, like the eldest daughter, Mame, it's like, I think that's a nickname for the eldest daughter, is like responsible for everybody all the time. So she almost like parents her mother. She's dealing with her father. And advanced stage Parkinson's, like there is a death. And then she's dealing with the grief afterwards because she's been like chained to him, but also like needs to find her own life. And it's just this very powerful coming of age and like examining who you are as a person separate from your parents, but also how much of your cultural norms you want to take with you into the next like part of your life, I guess, And so it was really powerful and really different and really interesting.
It sounds really good. I mean, I only have one left. So you go, because I have a feeling you're going to say a few that I've read.
Okay. So the first is Black Buck. It was about a Black man in publishing and sort of the challenges that he faced as one of the few people of color in the industry. Yeah. And it was really great. It was really well written. It was just eye-opening.
I love this one. This was like a solid 4 and a bit star read for me.
Okay.
So very high up there.
Well, the thing about it is Black Buck was one that was really under-reviewed.
Really?
29,000 people.
No way.
Yeah. And isn't it fascinating that was one of the ones that we both read and loved?
Yes.
And yet not very many people read and loved it. So fascinating to me.
I always wonder why. Sometimes I wonder if it's something as simple as a cover, which isn't appealing, which I actually loved this cover. It's really, really pretty. But I always wonder why really good books sometimes just don't get the hype that they deserve.
I don't know. I don't get that one. The other one that I have that I feel like everyone has read, The Dutch House. Have you Is that yours?
No. I thought you were going to say Black Cake.
Oh, I am. I was going to say Black Cake.
Okay.
Those are my other two.
Okay.
So I have left The Dutch House and Black Cake. They're both reader favorites. Black Cake was adapted. The Dutch House is by Anne Patchett. I feel like everyone has read them. They are very, very good stories.
And the other one that I have, and that's the only one that I have left, was the one and only Maureen Gill. And it was just came out like a few months ago. We already talked about it on the podcast. I loved it. I thought it was such a cute, refreshing pick for her.
It's interesting that we both have one that came out this year in our top picks for her.
Yeah.
So that's saying something about her picks this year are pretty good.
Her picks this year have been great. Mm-hmm. Really good.
We crowned Reese last year as the queen of the year, but I think Jenna's coming for her.
Yeah. So are there any other reader favorites that we didn't talk about?
Your top 5 were The Dutch House, Black Cake, Remarkably Bright Creatures, All the Colors of the Dark, and then the final one that you guys loved, which is a great choice, The Wedding People. Which is being adapted. And super popular, and it was a really entertaining one. That one almost made my top 10, but I had to cut
something. Now let's talk about the ones that were under-reviewed.
So in addition to Valentine, Black Buck, and Irish Goodbye, The Celebrants. Now it had 56,000 reviews, but compared to like The Guncle, which had over 200,000 reviews by Stephen Rowley, I'm a little bit surprised that this one only had 56,000.
Right, and especially because The Guncle isn't a celebrity book club pick and he had a built-in audience.
Right. I don't know if it's because it was about death. I always feel like stories about death maybe just don't, people don't always want to deal with grief, which you should deal with it, people. Another one, The Family.
Oh, you love this one.
Loved it. It was a 1950s mob story about like the girls where the parents, the dads and the family are in the mob and they're neighbors, and the girls like become friends and they're like the daughters of mobsters. Like it's so different and it's so fun.
Right.
And I don't understand why people didn't want to read it. It was cool. I liked it.
No, that sounds really fun and really unique.
The last one, and I know you really want to talk about this author because this one is like a fascinating case study. So Allegra Goodman has now written 3 books. Her first book, Sam, was a read with Jenna Pick. She might have written more than that, but this is like the last 3 that we're going to really look at. It was a read with Jenna Pick, and it only had 16,000 reviews.
Yeah.
Which is fascinating. I could see that a little bit because it was about rock climbing. It was like a young girl who's like a rock climbing prodigy, and it felt very niche. So I kind of understood a little bit. But then Isola was chosen by Reese.
Yeah.
And it had 100,000 reviews.
Right. And that was also a very interesting story about a woman who is basically outcast onto an island. So it's another
like niche story that's not mainstream.
Yes.
And in general, when we were looking for the under-reviewed, it was harder to come up with them because with Reese, it was a very clear cutoff. Yeah. Either you hit 100,000 or you didn't.
Right.
And a lot of the Jennas are actually not that heavily. You're either up there in the stratosphere of a Black Cake or the Dutch House, or you're like kind of piddling around 50,000.
Right. And here's my question. The Dutch House already has a built-in audience because who isn't reading Ann Patchett? So, I wonder a little bit about that. I wonder if it's the overall, when you're reading Reese, it's a much more popular fiction versus when you're reading a Jenna, which maybe has a little bit of a deeper themes underneath. So it's very interesting comparing and looking at the numbers, especially when we talk about Allegra Goodman, because this is not about us, which is her newest book. It just came out and it already has like 2,300 reviews.
Right.
So, which is not that far below 16,000 for it only being like a few months old. So I don't know if maybe no one had heard of her and then they had heard of her. So when she was chosen again for Reese, it was like, oh, she was already a Jenna pick. So it's hard to tell, but it's interesting looking at the two and making that comparison.
Yeah, I think Jenna does, you're right. Reese chooses like more popular fiction. I call it like easier to read fiction. Yeah. It's got a little bit more of like a mainstream audience that can kind of go with it. Jenna, I think, is a little more closely aligned with Oprah. She wants to find an interesting story that's different. There's definitely some heart to it. She's one that has never, I don't think she doesn't really choose romance, or she did with Maureen Gu, but we were like absolutely shocked. Of the 3 like more modern ones, she's definitely more closely aligned with Oprah.
Yes.
So I could see her picks being a little more polarizing of like, I just don't even want to pick that up, which is sometimes how I feel, right, when she chooses something. But shocking to me, though, is she has a built-in audience and she is streaming this to millions of people when she, and even announces the book at the beginning. So she always announces the book at the beginning of the month on the Today Show. And then she features an interview with the author later in the month on the 3rd hour of Today. And so you've got like millions and millions of people that are like tuned in, your built-in audience. And so it's surprising to me how few of her books sort of sell at that same level. Interestingly, I actually think some of her imprint books are doing better than her chosen books.
But I think her imprint books, surprisingly, are books that appeal to a wider audience.
I agree.
Her first book, Conform, is a fantasy.
Yep. And then Into the Blue, obviously, is the Reese pick. And it does perfectly align with a Reese pick and less so a Jenna pick. And yet it's funny to me that Jenna is choosing not, like, she's choosing to publish this sort of set of fiction.
Right.
And choosing to promote this other set of fiction. It's just, I would love to sit down with Jenna and just be like, talk to me about like your process on the two different things.
Yes.
Because it's fascinating to me how they choose. And I know, other people choose for a reason, then they like put a book forward to her and then she like approves it. I believe that Jenna is reading her own books. I believe that Oprah is reading her own books. I think that's why Oprah's timeline is whatever, because she's choosing to read it and then choosing to give it the stamp of approval or not. So
right. Which is also why she sometimes chooses backlist books, because she's just read it and she loves it and she wants to talk about that book.
Right. And Jenna, I think she is genuinely reading these stories, and they may be fed to her by other people, but it's like, who's feeding you your, like, here's your to consider pile for the show, and here's your to consider pile for the imprint, because they're so vastly different.
Right. And so I wonder if she's publishing, if she wants to choose books that she knows are going to be popular when she's publishing them, but maybe for the book club, she's trying to choose books that maybe if she wasn't highlighting them, maybe they wouldn't be getting
any attention
whatsoever, because again, a rock climbing book.
Right.
Who's necessarily finding that without the proper promotion?
What I love about Jenna is, even when she doesn't pick books that I love, she's like a librarian's daughter, right? She is like a true champion of reading. And Reese, I think, gets into it, and it's a business thing for her. It is let me test this book on my audience, and if they really like it, I will adapt it because they have a built-in.
Right.
It is a marketing funnel for Reese.
Right. And
it doesn't mean she doesn't choose good books, but it's a marketing funnel.
And she's also choosing, like we've discussed before, some books that are 100% already going to be popular.
Yes. But Jenna, I think she's in it for the love of literature and really exposing people to books. I'm the most enamored with Jenna. I think what she does for reading, for literacy, for everything. Like she's just a champion of books.
Yes.
And I support her and love her. And for that, she's probably my favorite of all of the book clubs, even when I don't agree with her picks or don't like her picks. I like what she stands for.
100%. I do as well. And the books that I've read, like, there's no way I would have found Nothing to See Here, a book about two children who spontaneously set themselves on fire when they get upset. I mean, how am I finding that book without someone bringing it to my attention?
And she's great at that. There are so many times where our sources tell us something. And I have a game with one of my sources where she's like, I have it. What do you want to like guess? And I'll like throw ideas at her. And it's always like, sometimes I'm like, oh, that was a Reese, or like, I guess this for Reese, or I guess this is in somebody's choosing it. And then the Jennas are always like, huh? I didn't see that coming. Okay. That wasn't even on my radar. And that's the point. And I love that. I love that for her.
And I think it's good for the world of reading, right? There is a book for everybody, and not every book is for everybody, right? And so it's great that all the book clubs are choosing completely different books, because they're bringing the world of reading and making it popular.
I do respect a little bit that, she has to have an interview with these people at the end. Reese doesn't do that.
Right.
And so it's hard. I mean, we've chosen our own book club books with this in mind. It is hard to interview about a mystery. It is hard to have a discussion about fantasy. They don't lend themselves well to an actual book club discussion, But we've struggled and we've had to alter what we do for our reading challenges now that we have a book club that expects to read the book, come for a full discussion, and then watch us interview an author about their process, about why they chose to do certain things in the book. Why did you choose to do this? What was your research process like? It's harder to do that with certain genres. And so maybe that's why she chooses some of these books to promote for the book club. And then she's like, but I also really like these kinds of stories, so let's publish more of these. But we can't talk about them in the same way.
It's true. And I love that ever since she started her own imprint, I've actually even had more respect for her, because I'm like, is there anything you don't love?
Right.
She loves so many different genres of books. So I love that too.
Yeah, she's our stamp of approval. While we're on the subject of celebrity book clubs and all of our favorites, why don't you tell us your bookmark pick this week?
I am so excited. My bookmark of the week is Go Gentle by Maria Semple. Talk about an un-Oprah pick. This is the one. And I loved it so much. There is a woman who is an in-house personal philosopher for really wealthy family. And it ends up being a dual timeline. So it goes back in the past, basically showing how she went from being in comedy and writing for a comedy show and everything that she dealt with then to becoming an in-house philosopher for this really, really rich guy. It is this woman, and she's a single mother. She has her daughter, and she's decided to create what she calls her coven. Okay, so she has all of her best friends moving into the same floor of her apartment building so they could all be together and help each other basically at life, right? Like if you're a single woman, you don't need an entire loaf of bread, but maybe the two of you can split a loaf of bread. And it just is a fantastic story about artwork and this family and friends and coming together and second chances and a bit of a mystery. I mean, it all comes together. It is such a phenomenal.
It sounds like a beach read.
I think this would be a fantastic beach read. I could not put it down.
I think I'm just shocked because like Oprah chose a beach read.
Right. This is what I'm saying. I don't understand how Oprah chose this book. Like, yes, are some more serious topics, but really it is a fun, fantastic, like feel good. Like it was a feel good. Oprah's last few books have left me like with my heart ground up in a mortar and a pestle.
Oh, such a vivid description. All right. Well, speaking of feel goods, next week we're going to talk about road trip novels because that is the May prompt for the reading challenge.
I'm so excited.
And so we want to know, what is your favorite road trip novel of all time? This is like when we first made this list, there were like 6 books, and now it is a very popular like little plot device.
Yeah.
In fiction. I just downloaded the new one by Mary Kay Andrews, which like I love her for a summer beach read, and it's called like Road Trip. It's literally called Road Trip. So I'll report back. I might even have it read by next week. So yeah, that's our reader question of the week. What are your favorite road trip novels?
Thank you so much for watching this episode. You can like, you subscribe, you can follow, and we will see you next week.
Happy reading.